might have dodged a bullet there. Maybe that rattling, ticking sound is actually not coming from the bottom end of the engine, but in fact, loose compensator nut. Look at this motherfucker, man. And there's little chunks of metal in here, which means the rotor inside there has probably been beat up, even though it turns with the engine. I'm gonna pull it. I don't know, have to pull it off, I guess. For the nut itself, actually, I can't turn it by hand, but it's obvious you can see. I mean, look at the clearance there. Like you can see, this should not be turning. You know, there's certainly not 150 pounds of fucking, or 175 foot-pounds of torque on that. But the nut itself, I can't turn by hand. I don't think anyway. No, I can't. Which I'm hoping that doesn't mean that the nut is fucked. The compensator itself is probably okay. The little chunks of metal, as you can see there's little bits and chunks, and there was a good amount of metal on the magnet of the, I wiped it off, but on the magnet of the drain plug there was a bunch of metal too, and you can see there's chunks of metal in there. So I don't know if that's aluminum that was ground off or if that's from the rotor. So is that I know that when a compensator nut comes loose, the rotor splines usually get destroyed. Okay, well, compensator's off and there's a whole bunch of material in there cleaned out, but as you can see, there are no more splines on the rotor. So that explains why earlier today when I went to start Reaper, the battery was completely fucking flat. I'm amazed I made it home. There must have just been enough charge in the battery to run the ignition system and the lights and everything. But yeah, you see, like, that's not supposed to happen, right? That's not supposed to. I just hope that the stator hasn't been fucked, because you can see it's off center, right? So it's probably been rubbing on the fucking magnets of the stator too, which is not good. But yeah, that ain't right, folks. That ain't right. That's supposed to be attached to the fucking output shaft of the crank there. So I'm thinking that noise is not a bottom end noise from the engine, and that once I get this figured out, I might be able to salvage a couple of weeks of riding, depending on how fast I can get another rotor. I should hopefully be able to continue having a season and not have to tear into the motor this year. At some point, after 350,000 clicks, 217,500 miles, the bottom end will need to come apart to fix, probably the tensioners and stuff. But I guess the thing must have been probably what's been causing that extra vibration in my feet the last few weeks is probably that this thing's been slowly backing off, because the nut was tight, but not obviously torqued up. It was working its way back, and you can see here that it actually, I don't know how the chain came loose. That's another thing on its own, I guess. But you can see like the chain's been doing some damage in there too. Anyway, yay! I think this is a better outcome than the fucking a rod knock or something like that. Okay, rotor's off, and yeah, we got some serious fucking damage in there. Look at that, the magnets are just fucking chewed to fuck. So I'm thinking, and as you can see, there's like 0 splines left. I might have to replace the stator too. Fuck. Which means like basically a whole new fucking electrical system. And these things are fucking stupid expensive right now. When I put this in, I think I paid $400 US for it, and I think the last time I looked up the whole kit, it was about $700 US. But I guess $700 US is better than fucking $5,000 or whatever it's going to cost to do the bottom end. The other thing too is, as you can see here, the splines, the crankshaft got beat up pretty fuck. So I don't know about that. The splines themselves are there. I suppose I could clean them up.